So I went to the dollar store and I bought a whole bunch of different supplies so I can make these special pallets slash storage containers for your acrylic paint so that they stay fresh for a lot longer than just like the time you're standing there painting your painting. So with these storage containers that I'm going to make today, my paints are going to last me not just 1 or 2 or 3 days, but they can last over a week. So anyway, I went and I bought a whole bunch of different supplies, and I was starting to put them all together today, and I figured I might as well make this video and show someone else what I'm doing. What I did was I bought a whole bunch of these are just, they cost $1, I think, maybe $1.25 because of inflation, but anyway, I got 2 of those. I got 3 of these. These were $1 each. $1 for the whole pack, not $1 for each sponge. I got these. I don't know. They're advertised as Sham Wows, but these are the dollar store versions of these because I didn't know which was going to be better at holding water. These things or these things. So we're going to try them both. And maybe what I'll end up doing is I may end up putting the sponges down in here and putting those things on top of the sponges. Who knows? Because on top of all that, what you end up with is this Painter's Pal Stay Wet. All right, and these are sheets that you put on over that, and it's paper that absorbs moisture and retains the moisture because you've got sponges underneath that are sitting in a small amount of water, and so the water gets pulled up through the sponges or through these ShamWows or whatever they're called, and they go right into the Stay Wet paper, and you put your paint on top of the Stay Wet paper, and it keeps your paint just barely moist enough to last for days, if not. I've had paint last probably almost 2 weeks. So anyway, we're gonna put that together and we'll see what happens. So I told you a little while ago that in the beginning of this video that I had already started creating this stuff, and then I thought about making the video. So I had already opened up. That's why the sponge packs are open. So I'm trying to, originally I started out like trying to figure out how these things go. I think that this is just the way we're going to end up, at least trying it. By the way, I know that this kind of system works because I've been using one for a long time, and it's been fine. It's just that it's way too small. So I went out and I bought these big mammoth things, and hopefully that'll work out better. Just allows me to use an entire Stay Wet sheet, and right now I'm using a little bit less than half, so I'll be able to store twice as much paint. And now that I got 2 of these, I'll be able to store that much more. So that's my initial layout. And what happens is we put water in there. Water gets absorbed through that and onto one of these Stay Wet sheets, and you can put your paint on that. But what I was thinking maybe is using one of these things also. Why? I don't know why, because we can. So maybe what I'll do, and these things are known for retaining moisture. That's what we kind of want. We don't want the water to dry out if it doesn't have to. We want it to be pulled up to the top. Why not? So what I think I'm going to end up doing is taking this this other one here. I'm going to lay this ShamWow on the table, and I'm going to draw a line around it, and that way we'll have just the right size. All right, so we got the ShamWow on the table. What's going on underneath there? Okay, we take the other piece of whatever this is, Tupperware. I'm going to draw a line around it like a racehorse. All right, doesn't have to be anything. It's not a special line, but we got that. Now, where are my scissors? And magically the scissors appear. I found them. All right, they were hiding. So now I'm going to cut this out, and I'll probably just cut it out a little bit to the inside of that line, since I drew the line around the outside of the Tupperware. All right, I finished cutting. I did you all a favor and I didn't show you all of that. And let's see what happens. Yeah, it's fine. Oh, look at that. Look at that. So now what I'm going to do is I'm going to fill this baby with water. Not fill it with water, but I'm going to soak the sponges. And as the water goes into this thing, it should go up through the sponges. Soak this, get everything nice and wet. I'm going to come back, and it's not going to be soaking wet. There's not going to be a ton of water in there, but it is going to be damp, and there is going to be a little bit of water on the bottom. By the way, these stay wet pages, I took this out of this pack that I showed you earlier. These have to get wet too. You have to kind of condition them so that part of the process is soaking them. I don't necessarily follow all the instructions to a T, but I do soak this first. So what I'm going to, before I use it, I'm talking about. So what I'm going to end up doing is I'm going to wet all these sponges. I'm going to wet this ShamWow. And after I cut this to size, I'm also going to wet this, and I'll be right back. So here you are. This is, I have just finished soaking the sponges underneath. I want to show you something. There's not a lot of water in here. I don't know if you can see it, but I can actually tip it, and you're not going to see, even if I tip it, you're not going to see a ton of water gathering around here. Right there you go. There's some right there. That's about it. So for this whole thing, it's not really tremendously wet on the inside, but you do want to just keep the sponges damp. And if the sponges are damp, they're going to come up through the ShamWow. You don't even have to use the ShamWow. I was just experimenting, but they're going to come up and they're going to keep the stay wet paper fresh and moist. And as long as you do that, you can put as many different colors of paint or however much paint you want on this thing. And when you're finished painting for that session or overnight, boom, you make it airtight and you're done. That should keep your paint fresh a lot longer, or however long it is. That should keep your paint fresh a lot longer than it normally stays fresh. So there you go. That's how you do a palette that'll keep everything a lot moister longer. Enjoy your painting. I hope this helps. Thanks.